Welcome to Narrow Ground Entertainment. I'm Steve the Unimpressed, and this is Steve Solo's 7 Days to Die. Today's episode is going to involve some concrete, so I'm going to come down here to the concrete mixer, which actually still needs quite a bit of time before I'm completely ready, or before it's done with what I put in it. Let's let that go for a little bit longer, especially since there's something else I needed to make at the forge anyway. One of the things I'm going to do, at least at first in this episode, is run over to my fortifications, my pillars, and I'm going to get some of the central stuff upgraded to concrete like I had intended to before. And then I realized that I didn't have a cement mixer yet, but fortunately we obtained that in the previous episode. The thing that I'm going to need to make here at the forge, if I can make it, rebar, there we go. I'm going to make some rebar frame blocks. I think I'm going to start with 20. Now the rebar frame blocks allow you to use concrete mix to go directly to reinforced concrete instead of having to put down regular concrete blocks. Or you can upgrade brick to concrete and go from that to reinforced concrete. But if you have extra iron, you can make these rebar frames. And with rebar frames, you just place those like you do the wood frames, and when you upgrade them, you go straight to reinforced concrete. At least that's how it used to work. It could have been changed for this update, and I have not checked on it yet. So we'll check on it now. Let's get 200, and that should be enough for what I need to do today. Good enough, let's go. We are back at the pillars. I have already knocked out the block above and below this center section of this pillar. I figured I might as well do those as well, and I want to make sure that I am remembering this correctly, so that as I'm trying to explain it, if I'm wrong, I find out about it now. I'm going to upgrade these with concrete. Those take 20 concrete each, which I think takes them directly to reinforced concrete instead of having to go through a middle step. And I think that these brick blocks, I will upgrade these straight from bricks, which just uses 10 concrete, but I think it has to go through the intermediate step. So when this dries, I think this will just be regular concrete, and I think these two over here will be reinforced concrete. I want to wait until those dry out just to make sure, and then I will come back and check on them. It's a random timer, I believe, for how long it takes for them to dry. So, now that I've done this, I have to go figure out what to do until it dries. And I'm not really sure what to do. I think maybe I'll run over to one of my mines and use the auger to dig up some more resources. I went away and mined a ton of coal, and now I have returned to take a look at to examine my handiwork. Let's go with that. This is what the reinforced concrete blocks look like, so I have remembered that correctly. It costs you the same amount of concrete as it would to go through both stages, but if you use rebar frames, you go right to the reinforced concrete stage. Over here, in both cases, half of it is dried and half of it is not. But this one has dried, this lower block, and I'm going to upgrade that to reinforced concrete. There we go. Oh, and there goes the top one, which I'll go ahead and upgrade immediately as well. So those both have to dry again, and both of those took another 10 concrete mix out of my inventory. But those will now be reinforced concrete blocks. Now that I have easy access to make concrete, I think that I might do these outer blocks as concrete as well. As a matter of fact, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for the central blocks to dry again first, though. I'm going to wait for this lower block to dry before I put in this last block of reinforced concrete here. I'm not really entirely certain if the game code tracks whether they're exposed to air for purposes of letting them dry, but I tend to like to make sure. I have no idea whether it matters, but this is just the way I do it. Oh, hey, there goes the last one. There. Now once those two dry, well, once these 4 dry, I'll be able to put in these last few blocks, which I think will use up the last of the concrete mix I brought with me, which is convenient. And then I will be done with the repairs for now. Now in this clip we can see why I say they must be on a random timer, because the last block that I upgraded is the first one to dry. Interesting, and somewhat annoying. Ah, the last block has turned, finally. I've used the time to start clearing some of the grass and leveling the ground next to these towers. Now that I have ready access to concrete, I will probably start trying out some other styles of fortification. And once I do that, or when I'm ready to do that, I tend to build them right next to my pillars so that if they don't turn out too well on the night that I try them, I can jump back onto the fortification that I know works. And hopefully survive the rest of the horde night. Put those last few rebar in and upgrade them, and I will not stand around to wait for these to dry. I will go off into, well, not the sunset, but somewhere, and conduct some other things. In fact, there's one, I don't know if you'd really call it a test. There's one more thing I want to do with the auger today, now that I have access to it. A while ago, I found this treasure map. I expect that will go, or locating that treasure, I expect to go a lot faster with the auger to dig instead of a shovel. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to acquire that treasure today. First, I'm going to put these wood frames back onto the bike. I completely forgot to empty out all my inventory clutter before I started on this trip too. So, my inventory is full of junk. That shouldn't be too big a problem though. Alright, here we are. I've parked the motorcycle outside of the treasure ring. I'm going to clear away some of the grass before I start doing this. But that shouldn't take too long. And honestly, I don't really need to clear all of it. I just need enough space to get started with the auger. That should do. And I will probably edit out between these because the auger is loud. I can tell from that treasure sound, though, that using the auger does still count towards narrowing the treasure radius. I was a little bit concerned about that there for a couple of seconds, but nope, it still counts as a digging tool, which is good, since it's a digging tool. Here's a zombie. Oh, there he is. And there he goes. Alright, back to work. There's our treasure box, and we also picked up a bunch of clay. Now I just have to hope that I can lockpick my way into the treasure box. We'll see how that goes. So far, not great. Okay, I guess I spoke too soon. It only took 2 lockpicks to get in here. Lots of Duke's Casino tokens, a little bit of old cash. Hollow point 9mm ammo. I don't know if I can make those yet. I don't think I can. Does more damage to enemies, but not effective against armor. I got some rockets, which I have yet to ever acquire a rocket launcher in this game. One of these days, maybe I'll get one. And some shotgun breaching slugs. Might have to try those out sometime in the not too distant future. Really did some damage to that hillside, though. That's okay, I need the clay to forge steel in the forge anyway. I got quite a bit done, and it's just past 5. I wonder if I should try to do anything else today, or head back to base and call it good. I think that I will head back to base, maybe organize my inventory and set some things to crafting, and then possibly hightail it over to one of my mines so that I can spend the night mining with the auger and not worry too much about increasing the heat map in the area. I'm far less concerned about being attacked in my mines and far more concerned about zombies running into my base and breaking things. The stuff that's there is actually important. I don't really keep anything that's important in my mines. Alright, well, I got a little bit tied up with what I was actually doing at base, so I am still here when night falls. I did, however, remember that it is actually farm harvest day, so I'm going to run down to the farm and do a little bit of midnight farming. A few zombies happened by while I was doing chores, and they actually brought some valuables with them for a change. One of them dropped a loot bag that gave me the Automatic Weapons Handbook, Volume 2. So I'm going to read that. That increases the damage that you do when you're in fully automatic mode by a little bit. And, you know, counts towards completion of the set, which is probably the more important of the two. Let's see what we have down here. I know that, yes, my potato plant should be ready, which means that I can make another potato seed. Oh, and of course it went into the top corner of my inventory instead of into my hand. There. Now the next time I harvest potatoes, I will have space, or I will have enough of them to make another seed, and I will now have a farm plot down for it as well. The other one that I'm trying to increase my total number of is hops, and I should have enough of those to make another hop seed. Where did they go? Yep, there we go. Recipes, seed, craft, and I actually found 2 of those that I already had lurking in a chest, so I'm going to use most of the rest of these farm plots for those. Middle of the night, I don't think I'm going to use the gas-powered tool. If there are any zombies around, they will inevitably hear that and come for me. Nope, might be too late on that score. Maybe not. I thought I heard a zombie, though. Ah, well. If they show up, we have the tools to deal with them. 3 more farm plots. And 3 more hop seeds, if I can get them to place. There we go. Well, let's harvest the rest of this and see what else we can still make. What on earth was that noise? They did add new ambient noises to this game. I still haven't read the changelog, but I can tell, because I'm hearing unfamiliar sounds, and it has returned some of the jump scareness to this game for me. Every time I hear an unfamiliar ambient noise, I immediately cease whatever I'm doing, pull out the marksman rifle, and start looking around. The midnight farming is done. The only thing that's left is the yucca plant that didn't quite grow for some reason. I'm going to take myself back to base and go hide in my mine there. This game is... The new ambient noises are creeping me out, and I hate it, and I love it. It's sort of a complicated feeling. I can't really describe it adequately. Yeah, see, I'm not really sure if it comes through in the sound, or on the sound on the video, because it's very faint sounds, but it just sounds like a quiet nearby zombie noise. It's creepy, which is fitting with the theme of the game. I did my mining and morning is coming, so it's about time to end this episode. I think in the next episode I am probably going to head over to the desert over there and maybe find something to raid, and probably spend tomorrow night mining in my oil field because I'm going to need a lot more gasoline to keep this thing running and, well, to keep the motorcycle running. If you've been playing 7 Days to Die yourself, let me know how it's going for you down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see more. Goodbye and God bless.